Hello, hello, hello. Oh. How's it going, everyone? Evening here from the UK. For many of you, it will be very early in the morning. So I appreciate you for tuning in and staying up so late. Hopefully we have a very entertaining qualifying session to present to you. Morning, Alan. Yes, and for some of you, it is already Saturday, already Sunday. So, yeah, hope you're good. And, of course, the rest of you are around my time and just getting into the late afternoon. So, yeah, hope you're well, everyone. Evening from Scotland. Yeah, evening. Oh, welcome back. Welcome. Yes, good to see 2:15 a.m. Appreciate you for being here. It's not long until we head to Vegas, and that's going to be a real early one for me, for sure. But I've at least got a few more races yet. Or have I got a few more races? No, I've got one more race weekend, haven't I? It's Brazil, and then we head to Vegas after that. So that's the one that's going to be the tricky one. But can I give a short summary of what happened in FP3? Of course I can. So, Lando Norris looked very good. He looked very, very good when it came to his pace in his single lap pace as he topped the timing screens, as you can, with a 16.6. But his long run data, he didn't do too many laps where he did long runs. They did primarily, most of the teams kind of went out on the mediums early on, and they did a push lap, then 2 cool down laps, then a push lap again. And then Lando did about 5 laps in a row, which were very good lap times. And his teammate, Oscar Piastri, seemed to be off of the pace of Lando. I'd say probably about 3 tenths. Similar pace difference to what we saw at Circuit of the Americas, maybe even slightly more. So Piastri definitely needs to dig deep. It could be a tricky weekend for him, looking at what has occurred in practice. But we have seen, of course, Piastri be quick. Well, not necessarily quick in practice, but then do it when it matters in qualifying. Max Verstappen looked, okay. I would say his pace did look not that far off of Norris, but Norris did definitely seems to be the driver to beat at the moment. But we'll see. I've seen some images of the cooling actually on all of the cars as well, and McLaren have gone for quite aggressive cooling. So they have quite minimal cooling on the car, the vents and the louvers, compared to Red Bull and that of Ferrari and Mercedes. But McLaren have had kind of no issues with cooling all year. That's definitely an area where they've been very good at. And it's interesting. That means that they'll be able to gain more performance with less openings in their car, on the side of their car. So we'll see how that plays for them. But that's no doubt going to give them a slight performance edge. And we know, of course, how slim the margins have been, especially when it comes to qualifying. So it could be something that really, really matters. As politely as possible to F1, how much do I want to see the new regs? I'm growing tired of these cars following each other. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new regs. Yeah, I think, look, ultimately, I'm a racing fan, and I want to see wheel-to-wheel racing as much as possible. I don't always necessarily need overtakes every single race, but I at least want there to be battles where you can see cars go side by side, and it be easier to follow. I want to see good defending. I want to see the opportunity of overtaking. And yeah, as has been discussed to the end of the world, we have got to the point where these cars are too big, they're too heavy, they're too long, and there's a number of circuits now, unfortunately, where we don't get any decent racing, because the amount of these cars were designed for, of course, to limit dirty air. That was the whole premise of the ground effect era, and it worked in the first season. But the FIA unfortunately lost control with the development side of things. They allowed the teams to overdevelop the floor edges and the cars, and they didn't crack down on it. And unfortunately, that's meant that more dirty air is thrown off via the rear wings and the underside of the floor and the side of the floor and so forth. And it's just with these cars being larger as well, it's the issue we've got with wet weather and rain, is that the amount of spray that is displaced from the largest like cars in F1 history, like from an overall perspective. Just shows that, yeah, we don't get as much racing as we should. So, yeah, looking forward to 2026. Am I allowed to have a different quali and then race setup? No, you are not. No. So you will hear what is called Parc ferme, that cars have entered Parc ferme, and it basically means that they've now entered qualifying. So I believe Parc ferme begins as soon as you go out on track. Correct me if I'm wrong there, guys. It's not when qualifying starts. It's as soon as you go out on track and conduct your first lap. I think that's it. So you can make setup changes, dramatic setup changes to the car until you go out and do your first lap. So you could theoretically wait until you have, until Q1 is almost over and done with, go out there at the very last stage. You could tinker with your setup, tinker with the car until the closing moments of the qualifying session and then set a lap time. But, yeah, that's obviously very risky to do. Some teams do that because they've had damage and so forth and they're working on the cars. But it means that they're locked in. However the setup, the configuration of the car is, they cannot change it till... they can't change it, basically. And if they do make any drastic changes to the car, there's certain little things that you can change that are acceptable. Tyre pressures, front wing angle, etc. But... like suspension, ride height, etc. That cannot be changed unless you start from the pit lane, which is a dramatic penalty. So, do we still need Parc ferme? I think we do. Yes, I think we do. I mean, there's arguments for and there's arguments against it, but I think overall we do, probably. Because we just end up getting quali set. We'll just end... Yeah, I mean, you just get cars... I like the idea of, obviously, the teams sometimes having to pick between whether they go for a single lap setup or a race pace setup. I mean, I guess it's less effective right now, because we know how important track position is key. But I think with like new regs and stuff, I think it's still going to be very relevant. It used to be that you could sacrifice maybe your qualifying position so that you could start with a race setup. So you sacrifice maybe 1 or 2 positions in quali because you know you have the overall better race car. But with how difficult, of course, it is to follow now, yeah, maybe Parc ferme has become a bit more redundant, but I think it's still always relevant. So, right. Hi, Shiv. Can you stop asking the same question, please? I will get to it. Otherwise, if you keep spamming the same question, I will answer it now. But my opinion on if the Indian GP will come back, I don't think it will come back anytime soon. No. That is the short answer. I think we're going to get an upset and some random is going to be on pole. You reckon? I don't think some random is going to be on pole. I think from what we've seen, I think it is Lando Norris's pole to lose. Yes, even with Max Verstappen there and with him still yet to turn up the engine. I just think from what we've seen from Lando and how that McLaren can keep its tyres in a nice window, I think Lando is in a good zone right now here. I think he's got that car in a very nicely positioned. Max, yes, maybe they're leading McLaren on a little bit, but I think Max has been genuinely concerned a bit about the lack of grip that he's been receiving from that Red Bull. Of course, the track temperature is the hottest we have seen it this weekend thus far, guys. 49 degrees it is right now. Oof, that is hot, hot, hot. 49 degrees. That is not going to help those rear tyres at all, especially when it comes to the end of the lap, when you need that grip coming out of the stadium section. So, thank you, Caden. Much appreciated. Engine up doesn't matter here that much with high altitude. It still matters. Of course it does. Max was... Put it this way, Rob. Max was in the bottom 3 in the speed traps. So it still matters. There's still a lot. There's still a lot for him to gain in top speed. But of course, if that's negated by him losing control of the rear through the corners, as Dan, you think he'll be P3? Oh, bold claim. His tyres will be screaming with his dependency on oversteer. Yeah, it does seem a bit strange. 62,000 subs. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you. But let's look at the poll, shall we, at the moment? And, well, our poll for pole is 55% think Max Verstappen, 21% of you think Lando Norris, 17% of you think it's going to come in the form of either Russell, Leclerc or Hamilton. I had to group them together because I only get 4 options, guys, unfortunately, with the polls. And I think I didn't want to include just one of them because I think they've all kind of been equal to one another from what we've seen in practice thus far this weekend. And Piastri is 7%. I'm so intrigued to see how Piastri is going to do in this quali session, not going to lie to you. This is a very important session because I think he's on the back foot here, if he wasn't already. And if he can qualify on the second row, we know qualifying pole here isn't the be-all and end-all. So let's be honest. Getting pole here isn't the be-all and end-all. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to lead straight down into turn 1. Sometimes it's a little bit of a detriment, like it is at Spa, because you can just lead the slipstream from those behind. Oscar needs to be looking, worst case, he's starting on the second row. So 4th place, I think he obviously wouldn't like to take that, but I think after this evening, 4th place is not a terrible place to start. So second row is where he's going to be at worst wanting to be starting. P3 has a hell of a record here, does it? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, Max has had a good start here from P3. So, of course, if you're pole position, then you get a decent start, which, fairness, Lando has not had the best of starts, of course. Then you're going to be susceptible to those behind. But I think even if Lando lost P1 to Max, I think he's probably knows. I think he would feel comfortable. This is, of course, if Lando even gets pole. There's no guarantee here. I think he'd be probably feeling more comfortable than he has done at other races that he has the better tyre management on the Max, because we are expecting maybe a 2-stop tomorrow with the track temperatures being as high as they are and with the hard compound tyre not being a viable race tyre here this weekend. So, why is the rear of Piastri's car so loose compared to Lando's? I don't know, Glenn. It may just be driving. It may be setup choice, setup difference. It could be that Piastri just doesn't like this sort of circuit. Supposedly, I've spoken to a couple of people who've analysed this sort of stuff, and they've said that, particularly in his driving style, this sort of type of track doesn't suit him as much as it does Lando, and it could be as simple as that he's just struggling to control what is necessary for a decent lap time here at Mexico. But the problem for Piastri is that the car isn't like it does look like that Hamilton, Russell and Leclerc, I think, are going to mix it up around him with the gap that he has off of Norris. It's not like he's a 10th off of Norris. It looks like that he's got about 3 tenths off of Norris at the moment. And that's falling right into the clutches of where the Ferraris and George Russell are. Maybe even behind them. So, yeah, going to be an interesting quali. Going to be an interesting one, guys. Leclerc on pole, but what about Verstappen? That can be reality. Yeah, I mean, will we see an unsuspecting pole position? I'm going to guess no. It could come back to haunt me, but I do think this is a pole position battle between Norris and Verstappen. Not to say, of course, I mean, last year, Sainz got pole position from absolutely kind of nowhere. Well, I say absolutely nowhere. Ferrari were a lot stronger team this time last year, but it was an unexpected pole. Don't think many expected Sainz to get pole position or a Ferrari, so. Depends on the first corner. Look, we could have qualifying right now, and then there could be a major crash into turn 1 tomorrow, and this championship and this race and the championship as a whole gets completely flipped on its head. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of loot. With how long the track is down the run from down into turn 1, with how the slipstream works here as well, and, of course, how wide it is into a narrow section there into turn 1, it's very inviting to send it round the outside, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that, as Sergio Perez found out, that people have got their wits about them. So, yeah, going to be an interesting one. Lots of cars moving around down into turn 1 tomorrow. And my prediction still stands, but I think we will see a turn 1 incident tomorrow. So, do I like the Mexico track? Not particularly, no. This is a track that I've always been a bit uninspired by, I guess. It's one that I wouldn't be upset at all in losing from the calendar. No doubts, of course, being in the stadium section is absolutely a brilliant atmosphere. But the track itself, it's never provided a banger. has it? Let's be honest. It's never provided a banger. It's always been a bit of a boring affair. Yes, there's some moments that you can pinpoint to, but they're very short-lived moments. Normally into lap 1, and the rest of the race is always pretty boring, and it's a 71 lap race as well. So we'll do our best tomorrow, of course. Hopefully there's lots of things to keep an eye out on tomorrow, of course, in relation to the overall grandstanding of the championship, and we will do, as always, our utmost to provide you the interesting commentary of the race and keep you up to date throughout the grid. But yeah, there we go. Qualifying 0 0 0 0. It is 0 now. It should be green flag. Pit exit open any seconds. Drivers making their way to the end of the pit lane. There we go. Green flag, pit exit open. We are go, go, go for qualifying here at the Mexico Grand Prix. 18 minutes remaining of this session. Track temperature is 48.7 degrees. Oof, that is hot. The hottest we have seen all weekend. And well, these soft compound tyres, guys, if you are unaware of the compounder tyre that we are running here this weekend, it is the C5, the C4, and the C2 in the hard compound tyre. There is a skip. So I wonder, the soft tyre is undoubtedly the quickest tyre here. It is only suitable for a single lap, so we will not see multiple laps on this set of tyre. However, I wonder if we'll maybe see someone try the medium. I just wonder if we do, but I'm not sure if anyone even has brand new mediums available remaining. Maybe they do for the race tomorrow. I'm sure they have. But yes, the soft compound tyres with this track temperature right now, these rears are going to be screaming. This is the issue that the teams have and the drivers have at the moment, is that the tyres, by the time they get to the stadium section where it's very tight and twisty and you need that rear traction, the tyres are so hot that they just don't have the level of grip. And we will see a lot of, I reckon we'll see that wall out of the exit of turns 16 and 17 be touched quite often this session, or this overall quali session. But Lance Stroll is going to be the first driver to start a lap here. Now remember, pole position of last year was just under 1 minute 16 seconds. We've got close to that from earlier on with Lando Norris, but I do expect that we'll probably see pole position lap time later on be sub 1:16. As we know, these cars are much quicker than last year. So let's see how they fare. So Lance Stroll makes his way down into turn 2 there, into turn 3. They're very aggressive over the curbs there, almost getting 4 wheels on the inside of the white line. So I imagine we may see some track limits violations through there where drivers just misjudge it too much and get too aggressive over those curbs. But that is where the lap time is. You need to attack those curbs there through turn 2 and turn 3. As they make their way down into the tight section of turn 4 and turn 5, very easy to lock up there into turn 4. They have added an escape road, a concrete, they've added tarmac there where drivers have to navigate their way through to rejoin the circuit rather than just go straight over the grass like Lando Norris had to do last year, avoiding action from Max Verstappen. So Stroll makes his way through the middle sector where we have seen big crashes before in the past from George Russell and particularly Alex Albon. Now into the stadium section himself, currently at 27.9 in the first sector, but that's good couple attempts off of Colapinto and his own teammate and Ollie Behrman, as you can see there. So not a great first sector for Stroll as he makes his way around the last corner across the start-finish line, and it is a 1:18.8, and that's a very slow lap time, to be honest with you, from Lance Stroll, as we kind of come to expect, as he wants to extend his record of a champion of Q1 exits, the most Q1 exits in F1 history, as he is nearly 9 tenths slower than that of Fernando Alonso there. So that just shows how slow Lance Stroll was, losing time all across every sector there. So not entirely sure what happened to him. Pierre Gasly in that slow Alpine as well in P3. Colapinto, not a bad time for him in P2. He seems to have caught up to the performance of Gasly in recent races. Esteban Ocon, just a 10th behind Fernando Alonso there. But Behrman, who, of course, wasn't happy with Yuki Tsunoda last time out, but did still score a couple of points in the Circuit of the Americas at the United States Grand Prix. jumps in with the fastest time with a 1:17.7. Lando Norris is making his way down the start-finish straight now, so let's stay on board with Lando Norris, shall we? As he will be the first of the big boys to set a lap time. Let's see what he can do. Maybe getting a cheeky little slipstream from Gabriel Bortoleto down into the braking zone of turn 1. Just really needs to keep this within track limits here, and he should be comfortably through. Something that's really important here, though, in qualifying and at this particular circuit is track evolution, guys. Expect these lap times to get quicker and quicker as the session goes on. As we have our first driver to have exceeded track limits, that is Gabriel Bortoleto. Actually, at turn 12 of all places, not even in the first couple of corners, as Lando Norris does a 27.2. That is 4 tenths quicker than the next best in Ollie Behrman. That just shows how much quicker that McLaren is. And Oscar Piastri, what is that first sector time, Oscar? A 27.65. He's 4 tenths off of Norris. He's 3 tenths off of Hamilton. A very, very poor first sector there for Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris, a 29.7 in the middle sector. Another 2 tenths on Ollie Behrman, who's second best there. So this is going to be a very good first lap here for Lando Norris. We will see whether he will have to go again. But yes, as I mentioned, track evolution is going to be key here, so expect lap times to get quicker and quicker. And the first time he is set is off 1:17.1, and interestingly, he was a tenth slower than Fernando Alonso in that last sector, so very easy to lose time there. Oscar Piastri, 7 tenths slower. His first lap is 7 tenths slower than that of his teammate. Wow. Lewis Hamilton, though, he has maybe saved Oscar Piastri's blushes somewhat because he made an error, quite a large error in that last sector, a 20.6 there. So not sure what happened to Lewis Hamilton, but I'm looking at Oscar Piastri's onboard and he is fighting the rear of that McLaren. He is fighting the rear of that McLaren, and that is not a good sight if you are an Oscar Piastri fan. Lewis Hamilton didn't have an issue out of the last corner, so I'm not sure where he lost time there, but we have seen lots of lockups from drivers into that stadium section, as Charles Leclerc gets a bit of a moment into the stadium section as well. He did go up into P2, but he maybe, without that little moment, he missed the apex of turn 13, as Liam Lawson has gone up there with a 20.0 in the last sector, fastest of anyone, and we have 2 RBs in third and fourth at the moment. Of course, we still are yet to see the 2 Mercedes and Max Verstappen as he is making his way through the stadium section and will be starting his lap. But if you are just joining us, guys, we have the majority of drivers making a first lap attempt here. Gabriel Bortoleto has had his lap time deleted. Lewis Hamilton with a slight error in the last sector. Still not sure where that occurred. Yet to see a replay. As I'm watching Lewis Hamilton's replay now as he went into the stadium section. So he went over the curb and into turn... so yeah, Lewis went over the curb. He went over the exit curb. Thought he was playing Tony Hawk's Skate 3 or whatever it was, Tony Hawk 3, getting those grind points with the bottom of that Ferrari. That won't do any good for the plank where through turn 12, and then as a result, he went deep into turn 13. So it's so easy to lose time in that last sector, the stadium section. But Max Verstappen, that first sector time is a 27.387. That's 5th fastest at the moment. He has been much quicker in the middle sector. We'll see how he fares. Lance Stroll is up ahead of him. Let's see how he navigates his way through Lance Stroll. This is a section, of course, where the dirty air can really be felt. Stroll moves out of the way for Max, and that middle sector for Max as he makes his way into Sector 3. The stadium section is a 29.9. That's 5th fastest. It's actually slower in the middle sector than Liam Lawson, as George Russell moves up into 5th fastest in the first sector right now. So Verstappen round the last corner. What is this last sector time? Where will he put himself for this first lap attempt? And it is P3, a purple last sector, a 19.993. Makes up a couple of attempts there on Charles and Norris, who had suboptimal for sector 3s, and he is up into P3. Carlos Sainz up into P4 there, so you can see a few drivers at risk. Antonelli makes his way around the last corner. He's been looking quite tasty in practice. And he moves up into P6 behind Liam Lawson still and Carlos Sainz. How is George Russell faring? Looks like he was a little bit off of Antonelli's time in the middle sector. But no, actually, he's ahead of Antonelli. So this is going to be a quicker time than Antonelli at the moment. Bayer in the last sector. Oh, Woo! Nice lap, George. Nice lap. And 19.9, that is half a second behind Lando Norris there. Welcome, everyone, though. Can see everyone tuning in right now. Big thank you, as always. Hit the like button. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes. And, of course, thank you for 62,000 subs. So yeah, thank you. All the indicators show. I'm going to leave the black box where it is right now. The only information, just FYI, up here that the race control is currently covering is the humidity, pressure, and rain. So there's not any reason for that to be. You only really need to know the air temperature and the track temperature. It's a bit awkward, this track map. So I want to leave it where it is because I don't like the tab. I don't like the tab bit at the top where it is. As Ollie Bearman has gone fastest in the middle sector, by the way. Wow! Ollie Bearman faster than a McLaren. Whoa! And George Russell, that is track evolution right there, ladies and gents. We mentioned this track is going to get quicker and quicker as Ollie Bearman in a Haas on a brand new set of softs has just gone fastest with a 17.1. Lando Norris has gone even quicker in the middle sector Well, I didn't think we were going to see a second push lap on the same set of softs and go even quicker. And Lando could be doing that right now and proving me wrong as he makes his way around the last corner and could be going even quicker here. And he does with a 1:16.899. Wow. So, a much better last sector there for Lando Norris, a 19.893. Still not as quick as Ollie Bearman's last sector, but wow, this is a tasty as Oscar Piastri finally gets a good lap into P3. 2.5 tenths behind Lando Norris, as does Lewis Hamilton as well. 3.5 tenths behind Lando Norris there. A second push lap for both of those on that same set of tyres, which I didn't expect us to see, but with the track evolution, maybe it's helping to balance out that normally that second push lap on that set of softs would not make them go quicker. As Leclerc improves as well up into P2. Max Verstappen, is he pushing again? No, Max is in the pit lane, so Max is in the pits. He is going to be coming out onto a brand new set of softs, I imagine. But yeah, Max Verstappen there in P7. So at the moment, we have Stroll, Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, and Tsunoda in the drop zone with just under 7 minutes remaining. But that lap time from Ollie Bearman, well, it's probably raised a few eyebrows up and down the paddock there, but no doubt that is what the drivers, what the teams knew. I mean, the top 20 is separated by less than a second at the moment. The top 10 are separated by half a second right now, but I don't expect anyone will be getting too many drivers will be getting into the sub 117s at the moment. I could be completely wrong because Ollie Bearman has just done that, but let's see. Who is on a push lap at the moment? No one is on a push lap right now. I think Gabriel Bortoletto was on a push lap. Liam Lawson has just made his way out of the pit lane. Hadjar and Lawson, I mean, that just shows track evolution for you. Lawson and Hadjar were 3rd and 4th not too long ago, and now they're in 12th and 14th. So that just shows how close it is out there. There are definitely going to be some gains here from the track evolution here. Max, sorry, what did you say there? Max slid bad and lost time. Yeah, that's what everyone seems to be struggling with out there. It is what you expect to see here at Mexico. It's what Max was complaining about in practice, and also Oscar Piastri as well. But Oscar Piastri, that'll settle the nerves somewhat. 2.5 tenths, 2 points, 2.5 tenths basically behind Lando Norris. That first lap was not good at all. Neither was it from Lewis Hamilton. But will that be good enough for them with Ollie Bearman setting a lap time there? I think these drivers are going to have to go back out and do another lap. I think Lando and Leclerc are probably safe, but there's definite improvements out there for sure. Definite improvements. Hadjar has disappointed you, Rookie of the Year before. I don't think he's going for a disappointing patch, really. He obviously made a mistake. He did make an error at Circuit of the Americas, which is totally on him. But, yeah, I think he's been doing really well. Track map's working. Yet we had only issues in FP1. So, right. Who went up there? Alex Albon was doing a lap. Apologies, so I did miss that while I was catching up with the chat with you guys. P13 for Alex Albon, so not particularly a great lap from him on another set of tyres where Sainz is up in P8 at the moment. But you are talking just over a tenth separating Sainz and Albon, and that is 5-place difference at the moment. So this qualifying is very close. Max Verstappen is out there on the same set of tyres. So Verstappen and Tsunoda. Tsunoda's out on a brand new set. So they obviously feel that he needs the brand new set and not on the same used set that he was on. But let's stay with Lawson and Isaac Hadjar right now as they are on push laps. And, well, Hadjar making his way, DRS open down into the braking zone of turn 12. And you can see there, purple middle sector for Isaac Hadjar. That is a 10th quicker, over a 10th quicker than Lando Norris's fastest middle sector time. So that just shows the improvement here. He is currently, his first sector time isn't particularly quick. It's 11th fastest. But has he got that grip in the last sector? Whoa! Oh my goodness, Hadjar has just launched himself up from P14 all the way to the top of the timing screens with a 16.7. Lawson up into P3, 2 tenths back behind his teammate. And this qualifying session is going to be unbelievable right now because Lando Norris is over 1.5 seconds behind Isaac Hadjar. We'll keep an eye out on Max Verstappen as he's on a push lap right now as well. That is an obscene amount of improvement out there on this track. I did not expect there was going to be that significant amount of time to be gained here, but that is, oh my goodness. I'm surprised. I mean, Lando should be. You'd suspect Lando will be okay there. And he's out on a used set of. He's out on a used set of softs right now. Oscar Piastri has not come out yet, so we'll see if he goes out on a brand new set. But yes, very intriguing times. Max Verstappen goes green in the first sector. That is third fastest first sector time for Max Verstappen there. We'll see how he fares. You do expect that even though McLaren he's on used tyres, I think from what we've seen already, we will see drivers on used tyres be able to go quicker in the form of like Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, if they are coming out on used tyres, that is. No, Hamilton's on brand new tyres. Lando's going to go again on a set of used, so is this risky maybe from Lando Norris going on a set of used tyres and not brand new tyres? We will see as Max on used tyres only goes 5th fastest. Wow! 5th fastest for Max. Will he get another opportunity? He's got 2 minutes to cool down those tyres and get round and start another push lap, but he won't have time to do fresh set. Tsunoda goes 9th. Maybe it's just a super good lap time from Isaac Hadjar, and we're not giving him a fair enough credit there, as Yuki Tsunoda on a brand new set of tyres has gone half a second slower than Isaac Hadjar. Not good there for Yuki Tsunoda, especially when you look at where Liam Lawson also is in P3. So not a good lap time there from Yuki on brand new tyres. Lando Norris did a 27.3 in the first sector, so that's about where he has been on this set of tyres, on the used tyres. George Russell is in his way at the moment. We'll keep an eye on him. Piastri is on new tyres, as is Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc is on used tyres as well. So Antonelli gone quicker. Green sectors from Lance Stroll, from Gasly, from Antonelli there. Carlos Sainz a yellow sector from him, but that's still a decent time. Lando Norris's middle sector is a 29.7, so he's 2 tenths down on his best at the moment. I don't think this is going to be an improvement for Lando. It isn't. It's a 16.9. So he has decided to stay on that set of used tyres to try and keep a hold of an extra fresh set when it comes later on in the session. Lance Stroll only moves up to 17th. He is out, extending his unwanted record of Q1 exits, the most Q1 exits in F1 history. Antonelli moves himself only up into 11th. That's not a great improvement from Antonelli on a brand new set of tyres. Carlos Sainz comes across the line and goes P8. He improves. So Alex Albon, he's going to have another opportunity. Let's see how he fares. He's letting Gabriel Bortoleto through now. Pierre Gasly, he moves up only into P17. So that's 2 who have gone. Gasly and Stroll confirmed. Unless Lance Stroll was able to go again. Maybe Lance Stroll's been able to go again. He's got his DRS open, which is a bit bizarre. Charles Leclerc starts the line. Verstappen obviously is in the pits. Lawson and Hadjar are through. Norris is going to be through. That is for sure. Alex Albon, we need to keep an eye on Alex Albon as Hulkenberg moves out of the bottom 5 into P11. A good lap time from the Hulk. As Ocon jumps up into P3. Wow! Some big gains to be had here. Behrman into P6. It is definitely down to the drivers out there right now. If they can utilise this fresh set as checkered flag is out. George Russell currently in P10. He moves up into P2 on a brand new set of tyres. Lewis Hamilton, he is potentially at risk here. He's green in the first sector. He was green in the second. He's on a brand new set of tyres. It's going to be an improvement for him. And he moves up into P2. 3 thousandths of a second behind Hadjar. What a lap time from Hadjar. Fernando Alonso is green in the second sector, but he is currently in the drop zone. Let's see how Fernando Alonso fares. Is it going to be a double Aston Martin elimination? P16 for him at the moment. Round the last corner, he's into P12 and pushes Gabriel Bortoleto down. It's now Kimi Antonelli at risk as Alex Albon is out there and is improving right now. He is the only driver who can push Kimi Antonelli out here in Q1, and what a poor qualifying this would be for Kimi Antonelli. As Colapinto has his track limits violation there. He has his lap time deleted. So Colapinto, Stroll, Gasly and Bortoleto are confirmed. It's all on eyes on Albon. It's a slow middle sector for Albon. And Antonelli survives by the skin of his teeth there. Wow. There you see Antonelli only just gets through as Alex Albon had a very, very poor middle sector. An error from the Thai British driver. And he's in P17, so not a good lap time from Alex Albon. So, yeah, not sure what happened to him there. And that means Antonelli just gets through. But look at that. The top 15 are separated by half a second. The top 15 are separated by half a second. Unbelievable. Unbelievably close here. Unbelievably close. As Franco Colapinto attacked the curb of turn 3 too aggressively. And it literally launched his car up into the air that he got track limits through on the exit of turn 3. So yeah, too harsh from him. Flavio Briatore. Waving the hand, not happy whatsoever. But no doubt, yeah, he's bringing some nice money. But your eyes are not deceiving you guys. Isaac Hadjar, P1 there is 16.7. Lewis Hamilton, P2, is faster than a Ferrari. He's faster than George Russell. He's faster than Norris. Of course, track evolution matters, but Hamilton went out there later than Hadjar. So did George Russell. So that is a very, very creditable lap there from Isaac Hadjar. Remember a few years ago, Daniel Ricciardo in the AlphaTauri, as it was known back then, qualified P4 here. Are we maybe going to see something similar? He's already qualified P4 already this season at Zandvoort. Can he do it for a second time? Liam Lawson, also a good lap time from him as well. But the top 10 separated by 4/10 of a second there. Oscar Piastri could only do a P10 there, 117.1. So yes, Lando was quicker on a set of used tyres than Oscar Piastri was on a brand new set. So not ideal. Briatore is still happier with Colapinto than Doohan because of the money. Yeah, of course he is. Do I remember when Senna beat Prost by more than 1 second? Top 20 now in 1 second. I don't really, because I wasn't alive when Senna was... I wasn't born when Senna and Prost were racing each other. So no, I don't remember. Sorry to make you guys feel old in the chat right now. But yeah, very, very interesting quality. We said it was going to be eventful, didn't we? The investigation will be, failing to follow race directions instructions, maximum delta time. That's never penalised. Don't worry about it. They always make note of it, but it's never penalised. So, you can't hear me. What's wrong with the volume? Volume is absolutely fine, I believe. So you just need to turn your volume up. I'm going to say Oscar going to move aside to let Lando win in his car. Right, I'm going to end the poll, by the way, guys. Many of you have got your votes in. And, well, it is currently showing that Max Verstappen will get pole position 53%, Norris 22%. Russell, Leclerc or Hamilton 18%, Piastri 7%. I would say from what we've seen here, who knows? I still think Norris is favourite, to be perfectly honest with you. But we will see. What incident was that? Just the one at the top where it's incident, so it's maximum delta time. So they're given a maximum time to obviously go around and do a lap so that they don't back the whole field up. And they always investigate it. There's always cars that get flagged for it. I think it was introduced for this very circuit, to be fair, because cars were massively backing themselves up, exiting the pit lane and in the stadium section. And it was very dangerous with cars on flying laps coming through. But very rarely does anyone get penalised for it because they're always kind of within a tolerance. So, can I give you an update on the late For those joining late, yes, well, we saw Bortoleto, Albon, Gasly, Stroll, and Colapinto lose out there. But what we saw was track evolution be a big factor here at the Mexico City circuit, as we have Isaac Hadjar, fastest in Q1 there. We also saw Behrman jump all the way up into P1 at one point as well. And what we see is that there is the field is very close here. Only half a second separated, only just over half a second separated the top 15. But we saw a few drivers, Leclerc and Norris in particular, not use and Verstappen not use 2 brand new sets of tyres. Where we saw Piastri use 2 brand new sets, we saw Hamilton and Russell use 2 brand new sets, as well as Antonelli. So how will that play into their hands and their advantage when it comes to Q3? Where you suspect they will be, yeah, but never say never. Oscar Piastri, not a good lap from him, really. So we will see. All to play for in Q2. It's definitely going to be close again. Thank you, Swim. Much appreciated, man. Kai, thank you. Thank you for the membership, mate. What is that? 3 months now? I think it is 3 months. Is that 3 months? 2 months? So, is YouTube full-time? I wish it was full-time. No, it's not. Not yet. So, every single subscriber, every single like brings me slightly closer to making this, obviously, a full-time career for you and bringing you much more content. I'd love to do content full-time, but, yeah, it doesn't pay the bills yet. It doesn't pay the mortgage and support a family yet. But we're moving in the right direction, so thanks, guys. Piastri pulled out of his second run. 2 laps done. Maybe he did. I mean, even if he did, he's used unnecessarily an amount of... he's used a new tyre there, hasn't he? Pretty much, which is going to leave him at a slight disadvantage, potentially, to Norris, Leclerc, others around him. Verstappen. Right, so pit exit, green light, pit exit is open. We are go for Q2. And no one is yet to leave the pit lane, which is interesting, so... What happens to the World Championship if Norris wins here? That's a very open question because it depends on where Verstappen and Piastri finish. But let's put this, let's just say, as an example, Norris wins and Piastri finishes 5th, then Norris would gain 15 points. If Piastri finished 2nd and Norris won, this is, of course, there's so many differences, but yeah, there is a possibility. There are, of course, without Piastri finishing outside of the points, Piastri could finish in the points, and there's a possibility that Norris could still come out and lead the championship after this race weekend. But we've still got 2 very close qualifying sessions to get through first. We've still got, of course, 71 laps to get through first before we know what is going to happen there, and a very, very tight and important run down into Turn 1, which is always very eventful. So be sure to tune in for the race start tomorrow. But who is going to be leading down into Turn 1? In which order, of course, are they going to line up on the grid? We do not have long to find out. Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson are out there first. And, well, I guess everyone is waiting. Everyone wants to wait for as long as possible to benefit from this track evolution, guys. They saw the gains. They saw those big launches up the timing screens from the likes of Ollie Behrman, from the likes of Hadjar and Lawson there, by going out later than everyone else. And I guess that is what everyone's intention is to do here. They want more drivers to go out ahead of them, so they lay down that grip, and this track just evolves and gets quicker and quicker. So, Lewis Hamilton is not wasting any time. He's getting out there. You can see Verstappen at the top of your screen there as well. He is exiting the pit lane, as is Charles Leclerc, as is Yuki Tsunoda as well. No McLarens yet leaving the pit lane. Oh, no, now we can see Lando Norris is leaving the pit lane. Oscar Piastri is waiting. Can I tell you what the red line for the tyres means? So it means they are a set of used tyres. So you can see where they've got 0 against them. That obviously indicates that they haven't done any laps on them yet. But the line, where it doesn't have a line, it means it's a brand new set. Where it has a line through them, it means that they are a used set. So that's important, of course, to the lap times that they can do. So Hamilton is on a used set, as is Esteban Ocon, as is Fernando Alonso, and they will undoubtedly not go as quick as they can on a brand new set right now. So that's always the case normally in the first run in Q2 for those that make it into Q2, and that's why you don't always get... That's what the TV coverage doesn't really do a good job at showcasing to you all, is who is on used tyres and just just making you go, oh, that was a poor lap time from them. Unless they specifically state that they was on used tyres and remind the viewer, they are unable to do that. But that's the benefit that we have here. And, of course, I'll always remind you guys that they're on used as well. Right, Isaac Hadjar, though, he's on a brand new set. He's not on used, as is Liam Lawson. And he's stuck 2 tenths on his teammate in that first sector. He topped the timing screens in Q1. Well, he's definitely going to top the timing screens here in the early stages of Q2 because he'll be the first to cross the start-finish line. But let's see how he fares, shall he? His middle sector is a little bit off of his fastest middle sector in Q1, but it's going to be a decent benchmark, no doubt. Definitely quicker than his teammate right now, as Lawson has bowed out of that middle sector, 33.6 from him. So a slow middle sector from Liam Lawson, an error for the New Zealander. And that's a 1:17.1 from Isaac Hadjar in that first lap. That's not a bad benchmark by the Frenchman. We'll see who is the next on the push lap. Charles Leclerc is going, starting down into the turn 1 corner. Max Verstappen's gone fastest out of anyone at 27.1. That is the fastest first sector we have seen from anyone in qualifying at the moment. So that's a good sector from Max Verstappen. Let's see how his second sector fares as he makes his way through turn 7 into the snaky middle sector through 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 as Nico Hulkenberg goes quicker than Isaac Hadjar. Go on, Hulk. Good lap time from Nico Hulkenberg there. Lewis Hamilton, will keep an eye on him as he will be the next driver to cross the start-finish line after Fernando Alonso, who moves up into P3, but is 8 tenths behind Hulkenberg on used tyres. Lewis Hamilton also on used. Can he go to the top of the timing screens? He can't. 700ths of a second behind Lewis Hamilton as Norris starts his lap. Max Verstappen, not quickest in the middle sector. That belongs to Charles Leclerc, a 29.5 from Charles Leclerc, but it's still fastest for Max, a 16.8. How is Charles going to do here, though? Good lap time from Charles. He's on, my maths is correct. He's currently a 10th up on Max Verstappen at the moment, but we know how tricky that last sector is through the stadium section. And Charles Leclerc, though, he sees no trickiness to it as he jumps to the top of the timing screens and goes over 1.5 tenths quicker than that of Max Verstappen with a 16.6. But Lando Norris, the driver who has his eye in here in Mexico City, has just set the fastest first sector at 27.0. That's 2 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc. It's a 10.5 quicker than that of Max Verstappen as well. Let's see how he fares through the middle sector as he'll make his way out of turn 11. Oscar Piastri is 4 tenths slower than Lando Norris in the first sector, but he is on used tyres. He is on a set of used tyres, guys, so do not fear. Sainz up to P2. He splits Verstappen and Leclerc. Wow, what a lap from Carlos Sainz, last year's winner here, of course, in the Ferrari. Lando Norris, though, is on fire. A 29.5 in the middle sector. That's purple in the first. That's purple in the second. And, well, it's purple in the last with a 16.252. 4 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and 5 tenths quicker. He's half a second quicker then Max Verstappen, who is on brand new tyres. And, well, he's a full second quicker than his teammate Oscar Piastri. However, Oscar Piastri did set that lap time on used tyres. And, well, you can see anyone here who has set lap times on used tyres. Russell was on used, Piastri was on used, Hamilton was on used. They are not getting the benefit of those used tyres now. Used tyres definitely don't work at this circuit, it seems, at this moment in time. So we need a fresh set of boots on, that is for sure. That is what Hamilton will be doing. That is what Piastri will be doing, and George Russell as well. Kimi Antonelli made a vital mistake there. Brand new tyres for Kimi Antonelli, and he is the slowest out of everyone who has set a lap time at the moment. Liam Lawson bowed out of his lap due to a poor middle sector and pitted early. So Antonelli, a poor lap time from him. But those on the used tyres there, the best driver who set a lap time on used tyres was Hamilton, and he is over 8 tenths slower than that of Lando Norris. So you need new tyres now. You cannot get away with using used tyres right now. So no one could have predicted that used tyres don't work. Well, sometimes you get the benefit of them. Sometimes they're okay. But yes, clearly that is not going to work for Hamilton, Piastri, Russell. So it's not their true pace. They will go quicker, and this session will get quicker. But is Lando Norris's lap time there quick enough? I would suspect it is. I would suspect Lando Norris. I don't suspect that many drivers will get quicker than that. Least of all, 10 other cars. least of all 10 other cars, I don't think are going to get quicker than a 16.2. But we did see large gains in in Q1. And, well, Hadjar and Lawson are going to let us know if those gains are out there. This is going to be a good indication. And, well, this will let Lando Norris know if he's going to need to go out again. But I think Lando's back in the pit lane. So, no doubt, with 6.5 minutes remaining, there's plenty of time here. There's plenty of time for Lando Norris' side of the garage to sit here and watch Hadjar and Lawson and see whether it's worth going back out there and using another set of tyres. Let's see. So Hadjar will be that benchmark for them, as will Liam Lawson. Can Lawson launch his way up from 15th at the moment and up into, say, behind Lando Norris or even ahead of him? We know how quick these cars are. Pole position last year was just under 1:16 seconds, and we are nearly there, and I expect it will be better. Piastri reports that it's weird in turn 5 is what Oscar Piastri is reporting on the car. So not entirely sure what's occurring there, but for Oscar Piastri. But he was on used tyres, so he does have improvements there. So let's stay on board with Isaac Hadjar, shall we? At the moment, the 2 RB drivers are the only cars out on circuit at the moment. Isaac Hadjar is down in P8 with a lap time on fresh tyres it was as well. So it wasn't particularly a good first lap for him. And Liam Lawson, he had to bail out due to an issue, driving mistake in the middle sector. And Isaac Hadjar does improve a 27.4, but that is 4 tenths off Lando Norris' first sector time, guys. 4 tenths off Lando Norris' first sector time. That is obscene. But we don't expect the RB to be as quick as Lando Norris. But let's see whether he can improve in the middle sector and that last sector. Currently P8 as it stands. Makes his way DRS open down into the braking zone of turn 12 at 29.6. It's actually not as quick as he can go. And it's a green middle sector. It's a green first sector for Hadjar. But how much is he improving here? Is he going to benefit from those new tyres and this track of evolution here in this last sector? Round the last corner he comes. Across the finish line. Where does Hadjar go? Up into P4, he's improved by 3 tenths, and well, you suspect that really Lando will probably sit in the... No, he's coming back out. Lando is coming back out, so they're not happy. They're coming back out. Lawson has pitted. Lawson has pitted again, so another mistake from Lawson. Let's have a look and see what he did through the stadium section. What happened for Liam Lawson? And... did he make a conscious error somewhere? I'm just watching the replay now. And he backs out early. He was up on Piastri, but I'm not sure what happened to Liam Lawson. It's a slow middle sector, to be fair, 29.8, but he's decided to come in, and maybe they're putting on another fresh set of boots. Rather than, yeah, maybe he's doing that. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be, but I could see there was an actual error in the last sector. But Lando, there's a queue in the pit lane at the moment as they're exiting the pit lane. Everyone going very slowly right now. George Russell making his way out. He's going to be on a fresh set of tyres. Is Norris on a fresh set of tyres? That's what I'm interested to see here. Will they save another set? It could benefit them in the race tomorrow as well. Norris is on a new set of tyres. Wow, okay, so Norris is on a new set of tyres. I did not expect to see that. So, yes, Norris on a new set. We have everyone out there, I think, apart from Charles Leclerc, on a brand new set of tyres. Piastri is in the pit lane at the moment. He's not leaving just yet. Still 3 minutes remaining, so he has enough time to get out there and start to... yeah, he's in that queue at the moment, as they're waiting for Nico Hülkenberg to start his lap. So let's stay on board with Nico Hülkenberg. He is currently in P6. He's on a brand new set, and he's looking to improve here and get into his second successive Q3 performance for himself. So let's see how he fares. Nico Hülkenberg. Sorry, he didn't get into Q3. He missed Q3, didn't he, at Circuit of the Americas? It was the sprint quali that he got into Q3. But anyway, Nico Hülkenberg looking to continue some good form, as he did very well last time out at the United States Grand Prix. And well, he's improved there in the first sector, 27.494. Max Verstappen also improves as well at 27.137. But it's still... half a tenth behind. Well, I say half a tenth behind. Yeah, just over half a tenth behind Lando Norris's first sector time. So Max Verstappen there. The green in the first sector. Green in the first sector is Behrman and Ocon as well. They're looking to improve. Currently in the drop zone at the moment, it's Behrman, Ocon, Alonso, Antonelli, and Lawson in the drop zone, as Lawson is going to get another opportunity here. Oscar Piastri currently at risk of going out here in P10. He's on a brand new set of tyres and he will get an opportunity to set another lap time. Plenty of time for him to start his lap. As Hulkenberg comes around the last corner and doesn't improve. Hulkenberg doesn't improve. He will stay P6 and could be at risk of dropping out here and not getting into Q3. Verstappen improves and only goes up into P2. 3.5 tenths behind Lando Norris there, Oscar Piastri. But Lewis Hamilton, of all people, is quickest in the middle sector. What? This is only Q2, bearing in mind, but Lewis Hamilton has just put in a stonker of a potential lap here, unless Fernando Alonso has got in the way of Lewis. Oh, wow. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not going to lie, guys. It wouldn't surprise me if Fernando Alonso did get in the way of Lewis Hamilton there, because there's no love lost between them at the moment. But that was... Lewis Hamilton was on the same pace, if not slightly quicker, than that of Lando Norris there in the first and second sector. Very, very good lap times from him. Lando Norris looks like has he backed out? Oh, no, he was on used tyres. Lando Norris is on used tyres. Apologies. So that the tyre data there wasn't updating itself. Lewis Hamilton, P2 for him. George Russell, P3. He jumped up into there. Max Verstappen was P4. Sainz actually just goes a bit quicker than Leclerc's time that he set. But all eyes, I guess, is on Oscar Piastri right now. Nico Hulkenberg is out. It looks like Fernando Alonso is improving. Oscar Piastri at 27.285. He is currently in the drop zone. A championship leader is currently in the drop zone and is under pressure here to get out. Here we go. Oscar Piastri making his way through the middle sector. He cannot afford any mistakes here. He needs half a second improvement, really. Esteban Ocon there has done a 1:16.8 and Piastri's best time was a 17.2. As Tsunoda improves slightly there. So it's still 1:16.8. It's still half a second improvement that Oscar Piastri needs. It's improvements in the middle and improvements in the first sector, but is it enough? He's currently in P14 as Fernando Alonso moves up into P13. How has Oscar Piastri fared? He's round the last corner here, and will he make his way into Q3? He does, but only into P7, and Oscar Piastri is fighting for his life here at the Mexico City circuit. He is into P7, he gets into Q3, and well, that is confirmation that we have lost Liam Lawson, Fernando Alonso, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda. Hadjar, Behrman, Sainz have made their way through into Q3. Has Antonelli as well, very close. Look at Antonelli down to Esteban Ocon. There is half a second. No, there's half a tenth, sorry. There's half a tenth separating Antonelli in P8 to Esteban Ocon in P12. So close right now. So close. But Oscar Piastri, you know what? That's what you need to do when you're not at your best, is still dig deep and get results. And, well, he could quite easily have gone out there under pressure in Q2 and made his life so much more difficult tomorrow to score points. But he has got into Q3 and he could sneak in a good lap that puts him a lot higher than we have seen him throughout qualifying and really all throughout this weekend. So yeah, good job from Oscar Piastri. He's still, he's half a second behind his teammate, which is a massive margin, the largest margin I think we've seen between the two teammates all season. But Norris fastest again at 16.252. I think he has, he's got easily two brand new sets of softs available for Q3. But I think he's going to have a brand new set of softs available for the race tomorrow as well, which could be very important. I wonder how many drivers will have a brand new set of softs available. Charles Leclerc looks like he's saved a set of brand new softs there as well in Q2, as he did in Q1. So Charles Leclerc, I think, could also be in a similar position tomorrow where he also has a brand new set of softs available, whereas Max did have to use two new sets there in Q2, and he was only able to get himself 3.5 tenths behind Norris. So intriguing circumstances, and what's going to affect the race tomorrow. Of course, tune in an hour before the race goes live tomorrow. We'll be having a look at the strategy options and looking at those tyre allocations, because they're going to be all important come the race tomorrow. 71 laps here is what we're going to have to look forward to at the Mexico City Grand Prix. When would you ever prefer a set of scrubbed softs? Never. In my personal opinion, I don't think there's ever a scenario that you want a set of scrub softs. Like, there's just no need for it. Because you never should really struggle to get temperature in the soft tyre. The only issue you should get in the soft tyre is keeping the temperatures down. Whereas the hard and medium, that's the only time maybe you would want to see a scrub set because you get temperature in them sooner. But yeah, no, the soft tyre you always want brand new. Let's watch Piastri get pole by half a second. What about Hamilton? How many new softs? I don't think he has. He used 2 brand new sets in Q1, and he used a second set there. So I think Lewis may only have one. He's either gonna use. I think he's got. Has he got 2 new sets for? I think he's got 2 new sets for Q3, but it means he won't have any brand new. He won't have any for Q. He won't have any when it comes to Q3. Sorry, for the race. So we'll see. He may only have 1. I'm not entirely sure. Lost count. So go hard. Thank you for the $9.99. Much appreciated there. To your knowledge, do you see any race weekends you won't be able to cover for this season? I do not. No. I will be here for every single race weekend. I've made every single race weekend this year, apart from one. Apart from one quali session. I've made every single quali session, and I've made every single race. And the only reason for that was because, of course, family comes first. It was my daughter's first birthday. So, yeah, that's the only time I've missed a quali session. I've made every single race this year. I love them. Do you think I'm missing any races between now and the end of the season? Hell no. Lewis does have 2 brand new sets of beer. There we go. There we go. Why is Piastri on a downfall recently, Anne? There's varying reasons. There's one of the theories is that the car has just moved away from how comfortable he is to drive it, and maybe it's moved more towards how Lando likes to drive it. There's also, of course, you look at Piastri's form last season, but he just doesn't like these circuits. He ended last season quite poorly in his run of form, if you look at it, or his finishing positions. And he's kind of carrying that on at the moment. And there's also just the element of pressure. It's sometimes, as people say, it's easier to chase than it is to lead. Because you have more to lose when you're leading. And maybe for him, maybe for Oscar, as mad as it sounds, it might benefit his mental states and how he approaches race weekends and driving in the last 4 remaining race weekends, that he actually loses the championship lead to Norris at the end of this weekend. That might actually serve him better, because then he becomes the chaser and he can go into a more aggressive mindset again, rather than maybe driving a bit more tentatively. I think there's I think all of them are valid. I think you would probably put more on the mental element, the mental side of things, but I think they all have some validity to them. Right, Q3 about to arrive. Q3 about to get underway, guys. It is possible to change it to miles per hour, Thomas, but the majority of the viewership here is kilometers an hour. So if I change it to miles per hour, or I keep it as kilometers an hour, I'm going to upset someone. So I'm just keeping it at kilometers an hour. I'm ignoring the obvious reason, Ronnie. What's the obvious reason? Are you going to say that the hogwash that he is being allegedly hampered, his car is being hampered? Because I don't believe that for 1 second. It has happened in the past. I'm not to say that I don't believe it can happen, but I don't believe so. If Norris finished the Dutch GP, it would have been different. It would have been, but if Oscar didn't crash in Baku, and like, there's so many different things that you can look at throughout a season as to defining moments. And they said it a very long time ago, that there's going to be a number of moments. It's going to be a driver who makes the most mistakes, or the least mistakes, who wins the championship. And it does seem like that's the case, isn't it? It's definitely that sort of championship. Oscar's been lessened for most of the season. There is zero evidence of Norris being favoured. I agree. I think, look, at the end of the day, I think they've been given a fair crack of the whip, to be honest with you. We've seen a championship that we've never seen before. We've never seen a championship managed in this fashion before. So, yeah. And anyone who says that either drive... I keep hearing this from the media stating that McLaren may get to a point where they need to favour a driver. No. Why would you favour any of those two drivers when you have allowed them to fight this championship for as long as they have on equal footing? With these ridiculous papaya rules, why would you then all of a sudden favour a driver just to secure the championship? Let both of them go at it, even if Max Verstappen catches them and they trip over their own feet. Like, they're both entitled to go for it. And to favour any driver and prioritise any driver now would be utterly ridiculous. And I don't know why it's being called for, to be honest. And if you're a neutral as well, or if you just want to see a decent championship battle, I think the more drivers you are involved, the more exciting it is for us. So I don't think you should want that either. But anywho, green light, pit exit open. Here we go. Q3 underway. I think that's mostly when Lando was a fair bit behind than he is now. Oscar's not just competitive in the last races. Yeah. So, Benny, thank you, mate. I'm kind to all fans, Benny. You know I am. You've been watching for a long time. I'm kind to all fans. We are fair. We are as fair and as logical as we can be here. As I said, my opinions and statements that I make, I try and back them up with logic and reasons behind them, not emotion based, which is very easy to do, of course, in online with social media and that these days, especially when it comes to this sport. I get it. There are some very passionate fans out there and for their drivers, and I totally respect that. Just the same as there are for football teams and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you need to just take a step back and just look at the logic and look at kind of the data and so forth that's in front of you. And from many years' experience of watching F1 as well. So, yeah. Right. Here we go, guys. Q3 is underway. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Please hit the like button. Get that stream to over 1,000 likes. It really does help the channel. And thank you for subscribing, as always. Continue to hit that subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the race. As Lewis Hamilton is out. Is he on a brand new set? We will see. He is indeed. So it does look like all the big boys are on brand new sets. Oscar Piastri is on a brand new set. Verstappen is. So maybe all my calculations were incorrect then. But they didn't have a brand new set available. But they all had brand new sets available to them. So yes, very interesting. And Max Verstappen is out first, which is unlike Max. Max normally likes to go out last. So Max wants to get out there first. And I guess play the my game of putting on the pressure. So let's keep an eye on him. Remember, pole position of last year was a 1:16. We have seen this track get quicker and quicker. Lando Norris did the fastest lap last time around with a 1:16.2. Let's see how he does it. So we're going to stay on board with Max Verstappen as he is the first driver out there as he makes his way DRS open down into turn 1. George Russell is slowly making his way through sector 1. Let's see how he fares. But Max, let's see. Can he get quicker than a 27.1? Can he break that 27-second barrier? Lando Norris has done the quickest first sector time here at the moment with a 27.0 flat, as Max Verstappen can't. It's a 27.148, which is slightly slower by 100th than his best sector 1 time, which he did in Q2. But can he recover that and continue to improve, though, in this sector 2? We'll keep an eye on Lando Norris as well, as he is not far behind, and he does a 27.178. So it doesn't matter about what you did in Q2, it's what you do now here in Q3. Oscar Piastri does a 27.3, so he's 2 tenths off of his teammate in the first sector. A lot closer than he has been, but not terrific, really. 29.451 for Verstappen in the middle sector. That's the fastest we have seen in the middle sector all day. Lando Norris is close behind him. What lap time can Max set? Can he get below a 1:16 as he makes his way across the finish line? And no, it's a 1:16.455 as Lando goes 2 tenths quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector. How does he fare in the last sector? But Lewis Hamilton is quicker than all of them in the first sector. Lando moves round the last corner across the finish line and goes nearly 3 tenths quicker than Max Verstappen with a 16.1. Charles Leclerc has gone even quicker than Lewis. The 2 Ferraris are on fire right now. But are their tyres on fire as well? We will see. Piastri moves into P3 and is just behind Max Verstappen, 3 tenths behind his teammate. And he actually sets a purple last sector. Lewis Hamilton does a 29.461 in the middle sector. It's not as quick as Lando Norris as Sainz moves up into P4. As Lewis Hamilton makes his way through the stadium section, Charles Leclerc, keep an eye on him, because I think it's neck and neck right now for provisional pole between Leclerc and Lando Norris as Hamilton moves up into P2. I think Charles here, if he gets a good last sector, he could be on provisional pole. He is! Oh my goodness, it's a 1:15.991. And just like last year, Ferrari could be snatching an unrealistic and improbable pole position. Where has that just come from Ferrari, and specifically in the hands of Charles Leclerc? Wow, unbelievable. George Russell moves up into P6, and oh my God, with our first attempt, our first run here in Q3, we have Charles Leclerc not just on pole position, not just on provisional pole, he is on provisional pole by nearly 2 tenths, by over 1.5 seconds. What a Ferrari unlocked in this last couple of weekends, because I expected they would be terrible here. But there they are on provisional pole. Lando Norris P2 for him at the moment, in lining up on the front row. Lewis Hamilton is in P3. Max Verstappen is P4, 4.5 tenths back, over 4.5 tenths back from Charles Leclerc. And he was nearly 3 tenths back from Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri is nearly half a second back of Charles Leclerc, but he is in P5. And I think on the grand scheme of things, he would probably take that tomorrow. As we said, Piastri, a good qualifying from him, will be getting on the second row, which he is just short of at the moment. George Russell, 5 tenths off of Charles Leclerc, P6 at the moment. Antonelli in P7, 7 tenths back. Nearly 8 tenths back, but he was on used tyres, as was Carlos Sainz in P8, as was Hadjar in P9, and as was Behrman in P10. But where has that come from Charles Leclerc? Oh my goodness. Where has that come from? Oof, unbelievable. So yeah, Charles Leclerc, first driver to set a sub 1:16 time here with a 1:15.991. But will he be able to hold on to it? That is the question. Lando Norris didn't set a decent first sector time. He was a tenth or so off of the 2 Ferraris and even his own best first sector time. As George Russell reports, the rears were nowhere. So there is improvement for the McLaren, and there could be improvement here in the second run, but that is a very good lap time from Charles Leclerc. Very good. And can Max improve by half a second? That's what you're looking at right now. Can Max Verstappen improve by over 4.5 tenths? It's a tall order. Piastri, is he going to improve? I expect they all will, but it's going to be interesting. These gaps are massive. Aren't they normally much smaller at this track? They normally are, yes. But what we're seeing right now are cars at the limit. And what we're seeing is drivers maybe just making the slightest mistake here and there. And it results in large margins, as you can see. It's cute from Ferrari, but McLaren will improve. I mean, they will. I suspect they will, but still. As we mentioned before, starting on pole isn't necessarily the best result. Because you've got obviously a long run down into turn 1, but you'd rather be on pole than not, as always. So look how close the times are for Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen, Piastri, Russell. Yeah, very close between them. Leclerc is the outlier at the moment, really, with how quick he is. So, but there we go. Drivers making their way to the end of the pit lane again. Here we go. Here we go, guys. So, of course, Norris as well. Did he go out too early? Does he maybe want to wait a little bit? We will see. Piastri's going out a lot sooner. Had the Ferrari bought upgrades? I'm not sure if they have. I know Red Bull definitely have, but I'm not sure about Ferrari. So, but let's see. We know how qualifying's been so exciting this year, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in as always. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, of course. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes. Go on, you can do it. But if you're just tuning in and you're joining us, where have you been? We are currently sitting here with the pole position, provisional pole. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you, and your ears are not deceiving you, to Charles Leclerc by not just 100th or so. We're talking 1 and just under 2 tenths. Just under 2 tenths. A wide margin. A massive margin here right now. So not long to go. 2.5 minutes, just under 2.5 minutes remaining of this Q3 session. Leclerc is on provisional pole with Lando Norris in P2, Hamilton 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Piastri 5th, Russell is 6th, Antonelli is 7th, Sainz is 8th, Hadjar is 9th and Behrman is 10th. But we have all drivers out there on brand new tyres. And that is what we're going to see, drivers on the push here. And well, Ferrari, fair play to them. They've held on to that track position of going out behind Verstappen, Piastri and Norris. And well, that track evolution, as we said, are they going to be benefiting from that extra speed from this track getting quicker? We will see. But we have drivers starting laps now for the last time here in Q3. It is currently Behrman who is out there first. He is currently in P10, but we will stay, I think, on board with Oscar Piastri at the moment. We'll keep an eye on Ollie Behrman, of course, though, and see if he can launch himself up the timing screens here. Currently in P10, he is looking to be the best of the rest, and that's not a too shabby first sector time from Ollie Behrman. Oscar Piastri, though, currently in P5. He's nearly half a second off of Charles Leclerc and 3 tenths off of his teammate in P2 there, Lando Norris. But Piastri's first sector time is much better. That's the best first sector time Oscar Piastri has done all qualifying. Max Verstappen puts in a very, very good first sector time. A 27 flat there from Max Verstappen. That's not far off of Charles Leclerc. You're talking 300ths of a second there. Sainz does an even better first sector, though. He is second fastest in that first sector out of anyone today. We'll keep an eye on Lando Norris, of course. Oscar Piastri makes his way through the second sector, and it is a green second sector for Oscar Piastri. This is a decent lap here from Oscar Piastri, so there is improvement, but Lando has just gone a sub 27 seconds in the middle sector. But jumping back to Oscar Piastri, he's going to be coming around the last corner and across the finish line as Ollie Behrman jumped up to 5th, and Piastri goes 3rd. A good improvement from him, but not enough to take him ahead of Charles or his teammate. Max Verstappen is green in the first, he's green in the second, but is he green all over? No, it's P2 for Verstappen. Charles still has provisional pole. It's currently looking very close as Norris goes purple in the middle. A 29.1 in the middle is obscene from Lando Norris right now. But we know the stadium section is really, really tight here, and anything can happen. Lewis Hamilton is improving as well, as you can see there. Charles Leclerc is gone quick as well. Charles Leclerc is also sub 27 seconds as Norris sticks 4 tenths on Charles Leclerc. But Hamilton is improving, as is Charles. Charles Leclerc goes green in the middle sector. It's neck and neck between him as Hamilton goes second and pushes Verstappen down. It's all about the last corner for Charles. Is he going to regain pole? No! He lost it in the last sector, and Lando Norris is on provisional pole, barring something amazing from George Russell in the Mercedes. He has the last corner to navigate. He is in P10, but where will he qualify? 4th. And wow! We have Lando Norris has probably just had the most unbelievable pole position at the most unbelievable time for him, because Max Verstappen starts 5th and Oscar Piastri will start 8th tomorrow. Wow. But Charles Leclerc is P2. Lewis Hamilton is P3. Yes, we have 2 Ferraris up in the top 3. Where has that come from? George Russell is P4, Max Verstappen is P5, Kimi Antonelli is P6, Carlos Sainz is P7, with Oscar Piastri starting 8th. If Lando Norris finished P1 tomorrow and Oscar Piastri finished P8, Lando would undoubtedly lead the championship at the end of tomorrow's race. Wow. Isaac Hadjar is P9 with Ollie Behrman in P10. Moving down the grid, Yuki Tsunoda is in P11, Esteban Ocon is in P12, Hulkenberg 13th, Alonso 14th, Lawson 15th, Bortoletto 16th, Albon 17th, Gasly 18th, Stroll 19th, and Colapinto 20th. But whoa, what an unbelievable qualifying session there. What unbelievable lap times from Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. And Lewis Hamilton. I did not expect that many drivers to really, as the session was unfolding, to get below 116s. I did think it would be smashed, but not as... I mean, wow. Great lap times from them. Ferrari, I apologise. We still have the full race tomorrow, of course, but I apologise that I doubted you. But as I said, a key to a happy life, a key to being a happy Ferrari fan, is low expectations. Because that is what happens when you have low expectations. Should I wear the Ferrari shirt tomorrow, guys? But what a lap, yeah, what a lap from Lando. He looked like from the practice sessions that he was the man to be. And, well, he did do it when it matters. And, well, what a time to do it as well. Because while starting from pole position is not necessarily the most optimal place to start here, you would always prefer to start in pole position. But he will see Max Verstappen starting from the third row. He will see his teammate and his championship rival, his championship leader, start from P8. That is... But look how close it is. Half a second. That is, yeah. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Woo! Don't wear the shirt. I thought I'd tease you. Yeah, sorry. I got a bit... The voice got a bit croaky there. Apologies. And a bit high. Honey and lemon for tomorrow. Honey and lemon for tomorrow. What a qualifying. Has Sainz got a grid penalty? Oh, he has. Yeah, Sainz has got a 5-place grid penalty. So Piastri will start 7th. Yeah, so Piastri will start 7th. Yeah. Because Sainz has a 5-place grid penalty for tomorrow. So. Going to be either one entertaining race or it's going to end like this. Yeah, it could be an interesting... Look, overall, it's going to be a very interesting race to the overall permutations of the championship. Look, Ferrari still have 71 laps to navigate here at Mexico City. But one thing Lando can do for sure is just obviously secure the win. Try and win, of course. If he does, he's at minimum gaining 7 points over Max and over Oscar. So, yeah. And Oscar also, of course, needs to get past Max himself, if that's the case. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race for the championship overall. But, yeah, very intriguing qualifying, that is for sure. I mocked you for saying Max would start P3. Well, he didn't qualify P3, he's qualifying P5. So, yeah, I was correct in mocking you. Ferrari cannot match McLaren race pace at all, so they'll have to get him at the start or he's flying away. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. I think even then, Norris would probably just sit in... Norris is going to have just so much better. The reason why Norris has been able to go as quick there is because, of course, yes, obviously his own talent. But ultimately, that McLaren is just so much better with its managing its tyre temps. It's just got the grip. It's just got the level of grip for so much longer than the rest of the field. And that's, you know, the strength that we saw from McLaren at the start of the season is, I think, what we're going to see here tomorrow, and what we've seen. I mean, if you listen to any of kind of the interviews, the drivers, anyone but McLaren, have been very kind of pessimistic, I guess, about their long run pace. Because, yeah, Norris has looked very quick when it comes to the long run pace. New lap record? I think so. Yeah, I think last year's was the lap record. So, but Lando does still he still has a start to navigate tomorrow, guys. He still has to make his way down into turn 1. Of course. It's a very long run. It's similar to like Sochi, if you remember. Not as, I would say, it's not as egregious as Spa, but it's definitely something like Sochi, where if you're starting P1, you're just punching a hole for everyone behind. However, you just need to defend the inside line. I know it's easier said than done, but you need to just kind of defend the inside line and just make everyone else go around you, really, and cover more distance. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that race start tomorrow. Don't forget Russell's long run pace, which is promising, dangerous. Yeah, no, it did seem to be. I think other teams will fare well. I do think that just seeing from what we saw, particularly like FP3 earlier as well, I think Norris and that McLaren is it's like that partnership. It's like what Piastri was doing as well earlier on in the season. It's what they were both doing early on in the season. They were just able to go faster for so much longer because they had just superior tyre management and temperature. So when there has been thermal degradation, and I kind of, I'm not saying I told you so at all, but I have said for like the last 4 races in particular, or yeah, 5 races now, but I guess we hadn't seen. We've been at race circuits where tyre temps. Managing tyre temps hadn't been a thing tyre degradation hadn't been an issue. And that had definitely fallen. That was definitely where McLaren were not able to use an advantage of theirs compared to everyone else or over everyone else. And this is where, I mean, Circuit of the Americas, I think, as I mentioned before, if Charles didn't get ahead of Lando like he did, I think maybe it would have been a lot closer between Max. Not saying Lando would have overtaken Verstappen, but I think he would have forced Verstappen to use more of his tyres. And clearly the McLaren was much better on their tyres than a lot of the field, that's for sure. And I think that's what we've seen here as well. So, double podium for Ferrari with Russell in third would be epic. Yeah, never say never. Look, something strange could happen tomorrow. Something very strange could happen. How come Lando can extract more out of the car compared to Oscar? That's a large delta between them. We mentioned earlier there are kind of theories being branded about that this is just a circuit that doesn't suit Oscar's driving style, doesn't suit his eye. That the car just isn't kind of suited to him recently, and he's been struggling a lot more with it compared to Lando, and it's fallen more into Lando's driving style than it has Oscar's. There's also the mental side of it as well. So I think all of them have sort of valid reasons, and it's probably a sprinkle of all of them. But yeah, look, he needs to. Last week wasn't good for him. He needs to do the same again here, where it's not a good weekend for him, and he needs to minimise the damage. That's what he needs to do. So, Sector 1, Lewis, was a weak point. Yeah, let's have a look, shall we? So we can see here that these are the fastest sector times throughout the session, which was, for the majority of these, in Q3. You can see Lando fastest across all three there. Charles Leclerc was... Yeah, you can see his first sector time was very good. Very good. 26.945 there for him. Charles, third fastest. Not far. There's not a lot separating them in the middle sector. And then in the last sector, Lewis lost a bit of time. But the first sector... I mean, it's first sector and last sector for Lewis because he's fifth fastest in both of them. You're only talking, obviously, a few kind of hundredths of a second. Last sector, the Ferraris lost quite a lot of time to Norris. That's really where a lot of the time was lost. But yeah. That's what you've got there. McLaren is sabotaging Piastri, therefore I hate every McLaren fan as a team and Norris fans. I disagree with that. There's no sabotage. I don't think there's any sabotage at all. So I don't think Piastri's car has a problem, no. You can see when you watch his onboard, it's just driving. It's just driving style. He's just clearly not as settled with that car as Lando right now. And he's fighting the rear a lot more. Whereas Lando is clearly a lot more comfortable with it. That can be due to setup. It can just be due to driving style. It's quite evident to see. I don't think there's any car issues at all. So if Lando can stay ahead of both Ferraris into turn one, he's definitely running away with it. Yeah, I mean, look, like it has been for a lot of the season, it is a dash to turn one. I think the Ferraris know probably that is their only opportunity of a race win is down into turn one. Potentially getting both of them ahead of Lando into turn one. But yeah, even then, it's going to be... I think personally, their only opportunity of securing the win tomorrow is if one of the Ferraris gets into the turn one lead. Oh, sorry, both of them do. They lead 1-2. And whoever is in second place will have to kind of sacrifice themselves for the race win. And they'll have to try and hold Lando up for as much as possible to build a gap to Charles or Lewis ahead, whoever it is. Because I think as I said, I just think it's going to come to that point where the McLaren can just go faster for longer when it comes to managing their tyres. So it's kind of just a matter of time before he's able to catch one. So you want to build as much of a gap up as possible to him. But yeah, do I think Lando should start on softs to stop styles overtaking into turn one? I think so. Yeah, I think you want to go. I think considering how kind of his starts have been quite poor of late, I think you want to give him the best opportunity to defend, and you also want to give him the best opportunity to be able to re-overtake. Now, if let's say Charles starts on the mediums, I don't think Charles will. I think he'll do what he did at Circuit of the Americas, and he'll start on the softs. He'll want to get that extra launch, and I think you need to combat that. You need to go like for like. Hold on to that lead. And if Charles does overtake you, then you're then on the same tyre, or you're then, if Charles is on the mediums, you're on a quicker tyre to be able to regain that lead. So Charles dive bombs T1 for definite. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Especially what happened in Kota, Lando must start on softs. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. In your opinion, Norris will get overtaken in the start. Ferrari cars better in the straights will have a tow. Yeah, that is a factor. That is a definite factor. If you look at the speed traps, that is a very valid point. Because if you look at the speed traps, the Ferraris are quickest. They are quickest. So, but we know the McLaren has the strength in the corners under braking. So, it's going to be interesting. 100% the top two will start on softs. Yeah, I can't remember who started on what tyre last year. So, the clock goes back an hour tonight. I know, TC. I know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get an extra hour sleep with little one. We try to make her go to bed as late as possible. So she wasn't going to bed at 7 and then waking up at 6, you know. Maybe Max is faster in the race. They sacrifice qualifying. I don't know. I think Max has better race pace than the Ferraris from what I saw, or from what I have seen. But I don't think anyone has a match to the McLaren in Norris. I think that is a good partnership right now. My question will be for Ferrari is how we had the jokey discussion yesterday. When do they initiate lift and coast? I'd be so surprised if they don't have to do some form of management here this weekend. Like tomorrow. I'd be so surprised if they don't have to. Surely they've got to. And I think that may hamper them. So. At least you never wear fuel kiss, yeah. What has changed for the worse for Piastri? So I'll read you what someone sent me, and they're a very observant person when it comes to F1. And he said to me, this is all of Piastri's weaknesses in one track. Low grip, high turn count, plus less than usual relative downforce due to altitude, which is increasing that factor. So I think what he's basically saying is that if you look at the majority of the low downforce circuits that Piastri has raced at, I don't think he's done well at. And I think this falls straight into like that realm of where his weaknesses are. So Ferrari brakes will be screaming by lap 10. Yeah. How's the baby, Jazz? Yeah, she's doing very well, thank you. Yeah, no, she's doing very well. Developing quick, growing up quick. So, yeah, exciting. Can't complain. Thanks for asking. Compared to last year, he's done great. I know, Duskos, because he didn't make it out of Q. Did he qualify? He didn't make it out like Q1 last year, did he, or something? Have the FA got the tyre compound wrong? Should it be a harder compound? No, Glenn. So this circuit always provides quite boring racing, really, and especially when it kind of comes to strategy. It normally just falls into the realm of a one-stop. If teams can do a one-stop, they'll do it. And there's still a possibility we see a one-stop tomorrow from a lot of teams. But I think what Pirelli are trying to do is that they know that the actual abrasiveness of the circuit here means that there isn't going to be too much options or too much variability in strategy of like selection of tyres. It's going to be more about managing the temps. So they're making the hard compound tyre unviable to race in so that it forces the teams into either managing during the race, which hopefully should provide some closer racing, or force them into a two-stop so that you have teams going on the attack on the aggressive two-stop. So hopefully we see that tomorrow because, yeah, if it's a one-stop here at Mexico, it not more often than not is a boring race. And even if it is a two-stop, it doesn't guarantee excitement either. So. What has happened in the McLaren garage? Is Piastri getting duffed on by the team? No. I think, as we mentioned, I think there's just a So let's run through the factors, right? And I think they're all valid. The first one is the mental aspect. The pressure of leading a championship, leading by 32 points after Zandvoort, he would 100% have taken at the start of the season. Any driver would. However, to be in that position and have so much to lose, anyone who's played any form of sport, when you're in a position where you're about to shoot your best score in golf, or if you're playing against a more experienced and higher caliber opponent in any form of sport, whether it be tennis or a team as an example, if you have such a substantial lead and then you start to kind of dial it back a little bit and get a bit tentative because you know you've got so much to lose, and because you've got a buffer, that can be a negative. That could be a negative for you. And I think that's definitely had a negative impact on Piastri. I think he would almost have fared better if the championship was like Norris was 7 points behind or single finger digits behind all the time than it was over a race win behind. So that's playing on his mind, I think. I think it's the mental aspect. He's arriving to tracks which I don't think he does very well at. Last season, he didn't do well at these circuits. That may also be playing on his mind as well. And I think with what happened at Circuit of the Americas and what's obviously going on here as well, it's clearly evident that they aren't maybe tracks that he takes a liking to, whereas on the flip side, Norris does take a liking to them. And there's also the theory as well, and it's probably a valid theory, that the car has just kind of got away from him a bit in relation to the development, starting maybe back towards like Baku, where the car has just maybe not felt as comfortable to him in more recent races as on the flip side it has done more so to Norris, and that all obviously breeds confidence, and it all comes back to the mental side of things and everything that we've just mentioned, and you then end up getting the gaps that we've just seen last weekend and here now. So I think, as I said earlier, it may even do Piastri some good to lose the championship lead this weekend. I genuinely think that. It sounds crazy, because yes, overall you don't want to lead, you don't want to lose the lead, but I think it almost might do him some good to reset and have that mental flip of being the leader to then becoming the chaser, and it's a completely different ball game again. So we'll see. Time will tell. But that's really, I think, what is going on with Piastri at the moment. And there's no... Look, something could happen up ahead of him tomorrow and he could still score a decent result and limit the damage again. Damage limitation. But, yeah. No problem, Harold. But Piastri fans never thought they'd celebrate him and get into Q3. Yeah, hang on. Piastri's been talking to now. It's a bit, little bit concerning that he said it's. So he says it's a bit of a mystery. So he doesn't really know, which is a bit worrying, I guess. He doesn't know where that time loss is. So he's disappointed, but he's not like down in the dumps. So Hamilton is winning tomorrow. Well, I mean, look, there's a very big possibility. Some things could happen tomorrow. Never say never. With Verstappen sneaking up to second, maybe. It's going to be interesting. I do hope Oscar comes back to form. He's talented. Just think these tracks aren't the best for him. Yeah, maybe. And that's the thing. Yeah, that change in mindset can be all the difference. I mean, we've all been it. It's like it is so much easier to be a chaser than it is a leader, and it's only those who are able to put themselves in that position. It's the first time Piastri and Norris have ever been in the position of leading. Norris kind of had it at the start of the season, didn't he? He had that big lead from the get-go over Piastri, with, of course, Piastri finishing 9th and him finishing 1st. And then Piastri just chipped away at it and then took the lead. Then Nostri? Combining the two drivers, Nostri. Norris then had to catch up again to Piastri. Then he lost. He was catching up to him, and then he lost that big advantage. And then he lost all of his gains due to that, obviously, DNF in Zandvoort, and then he's continually chipped away again. So this may be a blessing in disguise for Piastri. And then Interlagos, he comes back strong, And same in or he ends up chasing until the last race of the season, and he wins in the last race of the season. So, which I still think this championship is going to go down to. Because then Norris, of course, wants to lead the championship, but then he's in the same position Piastri is in right now. He then has more to lose than Piastri. So, it could be, as someone has said, Lando could then bottle it. Yeah, he very much could, because then, oh no, I'm in the lead. What do I do? How do I drive? How do I approach race weekends? Do I be more aggressive? Do I attack this driver? Like, what do I do? So mentally, it's very, very tricky. And I think that's what Piastri has struggled really to manage with in the last 5 races, with probably the combining factor of losing a bit of control of the car and being comfortable in the car. It may very well be that there's no change to the car and it's still the same. But if you get in your own head and you start to think there's nothing, especially if you're looking at the data, it could be a blessing and a curse being able to have access to your teammates' data, your championship rivals' data, because you look at it and maybe thinking, I don't know how to replicate it right now. And you get in your own head when actually, in reality, there's not actually anything wrong. It's just confidence. As a single race, once Max gets ahead, no one is catching him. Chasing Max is not an advantage. That is 100% true, because Max has been there and done that many times before. So he knows how to lead. And that's why the greats become the greats, because they're able to they're comfortable leading. They're not comfortable, they don't want to be the chasers. They're more comfortable leading. One of the best leaders of any sport in history is Tiger Woods. The statistics of him leading a tournament after 2 rounds of golf, especially in majors, is unbelievable. I think he's only ever lost once when he's been leading after 2 rounds of golf in a major. He's got 14 of them. He's got 15 of them, sorry, and he's won 14 of them. And they're the most high-pressured environments when it comes to golf. And then other tournaments, exactly the same. When he's statistic, leading is something that he wanted and he relished and very rarely gave up. And there's drivers like that as well. Lewis, very, very good at leading from the front. Same as Max Verstappen. It's not easy. It is not easy. Tiger's mentality was phenomenal, yeah. Totally different mindset being a chaser when you're more aggressive than leading, trying to defend, being more cautious. Exactly. Last year in 2021 comes to mind. Both years Max lost his head. 2021, look, it was Max going for his first world championship. He was in a completely different, obviously, position, wasn't he? But then, once you've got one, that's the thing. Once you get the thing that you've wanted so much, yes, you want to get more. But when you then find yourself in that position again, it's the same with race wins. Once you've got one, more will follow, because you've got the monkey off the back, haven't you? You now know how that it feels comfortable to be in that position. Do I stream on race day? Of course I do. Phil the Power Taylor, yep, as well. You look at any of the greats who've set unbelievable statistical records. They are all comfortable leading from the front. So they were so dominant in the early rounds, McLaren, while Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari, even Carlos Sainz, have improved dramatically. That's the beauty of such a long season. Yeah, and look, you could arguably say the same thing about Max last year as well. Max also was very dominant in the early part of the season last year, and that was what obviously allowed him to end up being in leading the championship for as long as he did, and why he had such a large gap that he could manage to Lando. And that's the thing, that gap didn't come down because, yes, of course, Lando made mistakes, but also because Max didn't allow him to. He was still there. He was still getting the most out of that car. So, and keeping the pressure on. I should be in Lewis's intercom, yeah. Ferrari's going to bottle it or else do a 1-2. Choose their fate, yeah. Look, I don't care if people have bias. It's fine. People are allowed to have bias. All I ask is that you just obviously be fair and respectful with that biasness to other drivers. And look, I'm happy for you to support your driver and to cheer for them and stuff. Just don't crap on other drivers and crap on other people who are fans of others. And just try and be, like I try and do, just try and be like logical with your assessments. And try and obviously understand where I'm coming from and stuff as well. Because that's what we try and do here. Sometimes things are genuine mistakes, sometimes they're not, sometimes it's great performances, sometimes there's more to it than that. It's not a simple sport. It isn't a simple sport where it is just black and white. There's so much that is going on. It's a race with lots of laps, lots of overtaking opportunities you can follow, wait, overtake. As for Piastri, maybe the setup failed. The car is obviously fastest. Yeah, exactly, and Lando has proven that. So, and we know Piastri can do it. So there's clearly a confidence issue there for him. The fact of it, he said it's a mystery. I mean, maybe he does know, and he just doesn't want to give the information away to the media, to the public, of course, to fans and that. But I feel like it'd be more confident going, yeah, I know where the issue is. Don't have to tell people where the issue is, but to say it's a mystery is a little bit, yeah, it is a little bit concerning. So, expressing an opinion isn't necessarily hating. No, it is what is included within that opinion, though, Chester. So, there seems to be a lot of hate towards drivers. Yes, we all have our favourites, but don't hate on others. Let's face it. Yeah, it just comes down to emotion and stuff, really. Look, the sport has massively benefited from, obviously, its popularity, which is brilliant. But unfortunately, it has brought with it very partisan fans. A bit more like football, where some people, not all, of course, some fans see that their team can do no wrong. And they're very biased towards their team. And it's exactly the same with drivers. And I get that. I do totally get it. But at the same time, just, yeah, take a step back, take a breather, and just try and understand the logic. Like, they're all human. They're not faultless. And they can make mistakes, as can a team. And yes, sometimes there are times where your fury is justified in relation to maybe some unfair favoritism and stuff. It has happened in the sport. Look at Max Verstappen. Of course he gets favoritism in the sport. So to think that maybe McLaren wouldn't be doing it, and there's a little bit of favoritism here and there, and they have their favourites, totally agree that there are probably favourites, and there's people within the team who probably would prefer Lando to win the championship over Oscar, and vice versa. Of course there is. But I think they are giving them an equal opportunity, and it's just kind of same at Ferrari at the moment as well. They're both giving them equal opportunities. But to say that it doesn't happen, of course, is also would be a lie as well. So Piastri will get the second pit stop choice in the race, so that could be another thing against his chances. Yeah. Potentially, yeah. Yeah, because he'll end up getting the slower pit stop. Or maybe he gets the first pit stop because he's in more of a race than Lando, and he ends up giving Lando a slow pit stop. So you wish someone a safe crash? No, I mean you can. I mean it is that sort of sport, isn't it? People go, "Oh, should you want people to crash?" I guess like you just it's like wanting a team to lose dramatically, isn't it? You want them to like not finish the race, whether it be for a DNF or something. So I mean, it's sport to an extent, as long as obviously no one's hurt and that, like it's competitive sport. But yeah, that's a bit of a strange one. That's one where the lines can be blurred very, very quickly. Jarvis, thank you for the 5 gifted, by the way, much appreciated. Dusko, you said it numerous times. Even Max said 60% of drivers win in the fastest car. It's setups, it's engineers, it's politics, it's who's cheating. The driver is almost the last factor. Of course it is. But the best drivers find themselves in the fastest cars. You have to work your way up the ladder, mostly. And at the end of the day, the best drivers find themselves in the best cars. So, race predictions for tomorrow. Lando win. I think Lando win, Max P2. George P3. I'm sorry, Tifosi. I'm sorry, Ferrari fans. I don't have faith that they have a car that will be able to compete for P2 and P3 for the duration of the race. I just don't see them having. I just don't see them having to not lift off at some point and do Lyco and do something that costs them the race. Sorry, I'm still sticking to that prediction. So I think fair play. They've got their cars into P2 and P3, and I'd love to see them in P2 and P3. I'd love to see Hamilton get a podium. Of course, he's the only driver I am a fan of. But anyone who's listened to any sort of radio messages over the season, the amount of lift and coast that they have to do, how are they not going to lift and coast here? How are they not going to be required to lift and coast here to look after the brakes, look after the engine, look after whatever it may be, where the air is so thin, the temperature is going to be skyrocketing inside that car? That's just my opinion. I'm sticking by it based on the logic that I've seen from this season with them. I hope I'm proven wrong, but we'll see. So yeah, as I said, low expectations for Ferrari. A key to being a happy Ferrari fan is low expectations. Have low expectations, and you may be pleasantly surprised and coming away with a smile on your face by the end of tomorrow's race. So, but yeah, there we go. Right, that is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in for this QUALI watch along. Over 1,000 likes. Thank you, by the way, much appreciated. 6 new members as well, and we got a nice handful of subs as well, over 62,000 subscribers. So yes, I'm going to run a poll over on the race stream. You can hit the like and subscribe button over there as well, get your votes in, bookmark the stream, and hit your notifications as well. Hit that bell button so that you're notified half an hour before I go live. We'll be live an hour before the race begins, as always, just to have a general chit chat, warm up before the race begins. Have a look at those important strategy options tomorrow. The tyre allocations are going to be key as well here tomorrow. Who has brand new softs available? Who has brand new mediums? Who is going to start on what tyre? Will we see Lando start on the softs and ensure that he holds on to first place and gets that clean air, holds off those 2 Ferraris? And of course, we'll be kicking off with the formation lap at 8 p.m. sharp UK time. So wherever that is translated to your time zone. And then yeah, it is all guns are blazing, all motors full throttle, engines full throttle to the start of the braking zone into turn 1, where I do expect we will see something happen. So yes, thank you as always. What a qualifying session. Big potential permutations here in the championship. We'll keep you up to date of those throughout the race tomorrow as well. So yes, thank you guys. Have a lovely rest of your evening and your Sunday, and we'll catch you for the race tomorrow. Bye.